Welcome back to Browns All Access. Nathan Zegura, Bernie Kosar, and Bernie. The offensive line has played very well this year, but I'd say the last 2 weeks, Greg Robinson going in at left tackle, we've seen a real change. This past Sunday against Atlanta, Baker Mayfield was not sacked. Probably one of the reasons why he was so efficient. But what have you seen from this group up front?
Well, I think you're exactly right. Greg Robinson coming in as a veteran guy at left tackle, I think has solidified the continuity of the offensive line a little more. That's not to take shots at Harrison. As a young guy, I like kind of his balance and his abilities to kind of learn. But Robinson coming in with the abilities of the guard and center to handle this line of scrimmage in the center of the pocket, it's really meshed real well from the protection standpoint, but also as we've seen with Nick Chubb in running the ball standpoint.
Absolutely. Nick Chubb running off a 92-yard run last week, the longest run in Browns history. And when you think of all the great backs who have worn the brown and orange, that really says something. Any good running back will tell you it starts up front, and the quarterback of the offensive line, Browns center J.C. Tretter. And I sat down with him earlier to talk about this new offense under offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens. Here we are in the beautifully decorated offensive line room with Browns starting center J.C. Tretter. J.C., congrats on the win. Obviously a big one. How did it feel on the field going through that game against the Falcons?
Honestly, it was great. To be able to run the ball like we did, protect the quarterback like we did, those are the two things we set out to do each and every week. And that was probably the most complete game we've had in a while. I mean, no sacks, 200 yards rushing, about as good as you can ask for.
There goes Chubb! He's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Shabba-lubba hub!
The longest run in the history of the Cleveland Browns. When you think about the fact that Jim Brown was a Cleveland Brown, that covers a lot of ground. What's it like to be a part of something on a play like that?
It's always awesome. I mean, as an offensive lineman, you always like the long touchdowns. Shortens the drive, you get back to the sidelines, get able to sit down for a little bit. Chubb's been able to come out and hit really 3 long runs this year, and those are just awesome for the offensive line.
So I want to know this. When was the last time you snapped a ball with 4 people behind you?
Geez, I think never. I don't think I've ever done it, but that was a nice little wrinkle that we put in this week, and it was pretty successful for 1 week of practice for getting the defense a different look and kind of being able to do a bunch of different things out of it. It was a nice little package that we had built over the week. I mean, that was a lot of the kind of the brainchild of Freddie, and it was honestly successful.
You've obviously played with one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. 10 games into Baker Mayfield's career. Not saying compare them, but does he have some of those traits, and what have you seen from him in his development?
A lot of confidence. Same thing as A-Rod, and I think you see that touchdown to Higgins. I mean, that is a tough throw to make, rolling right, throwing somewhat across his body, and putting it right on the mark. I mean, that's an impressive throw of the football, and that's something that I think Baker really succeeds with and has that most people don't.
All right, I want to talk about just your toughness, your commitment to this team, because obviously we've known there were a few weeks there where you weren't practicing at all and that you were going out there and gutting out on Sunday. So what did it mean to you to be out there with your team, and how are you feeling now?
A little sore. I give a lot of credit to the training staff. It's been a battle each week, and they do a great job of taking care of me, making sure I can get back to as close to 100% as I can each week. It's one of those things, you don't want to miss games, you don't want to miss snaps. You want to be out there with your brothers and with your team. So it's been one thing I said from the beginning, I wanted to play every snap and play all 16 games. It's something I was able to do last year, and at the beginning of my career I had plenty of injuries that I kind of want to avoid from here on out. So I want to be out there as much as possible.
A great offensive line, also a quarterback's best friend. We mentioned Baker was not sacked in this game against the Falcons. How important is that for a quarterback to know when you drop back, you're going to have time to go through your reads and deliver the football?
Yeah, how ironic is it that we're interviewing the middle of the pocket for our quarterback here? The center of the pocket, especially for someone like myself who was a lot slower. But Baker Mayfield, a lot's been talked about his height. And when you have a height issue, I don't think it's as big an issue as people make it out to be. That being said, it's imperative you have the center of the pocket taken care of. And the Browns have done as good a job as most teams in the league this year at taking care of solidifying the middle of the pocket.
I think they were saying, look, play fast and free, play dangerous. That's what Baker Mayfield did, and we'll try to be dangerous for you when we wrap up Browns All Access next. When we return, General Manager John Dorsey tells us what to look for in the final 6 games of the season.